tell you. Or wherever you may be, this is Tom Kowitz with Michele Gaudin. You've got the Baldy and The Blonde show because it is Wednesday at 4. That means you got us for the next hour.
That's us. Here we are.
Here we are. You remembered to talk into the mic today. Thank you.
I did. And I have a cold today, so please excuse me. Okay.
Well, excuse you. So we're going to have a little fun start to the show. I wanted to talk about this weird thing about how you're not supposed to mispronounce the Democrat candidate's first name.
If you do, it's disrespectful.
I guess. And I've lived my whole life with my name being mispronounced, not Tom, but my last name.
Kowitz?
And I know that.
Is that how you say
it? You see? You're still doing it. The point is, there's many reasons why you might mispronounce somebody's name because maybe you're just not used to saying it. But it doesn't mean that you hate them or are bigoted toward them
Probably
or something
not.
like that. But I just wanted to maybe get to the bottom of how the name is actually pronounced. So I've got some clips here. The first one you're going to hear from Mika Brzezinski. She's co-host of the Morning Joe show.
Oh, yes, the Morning Mika show.
Yes,
yeah.
and she's going to tell us that the conservatives or the right or the Republicans are intentionally mispronouncing the name because they hate her. Couldn't be any other reason.
That's right.
But let's hear what Mika has to say.
The hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. You will notice they purposefully pronounce her name wrong.
They purposefully mispronounce
That's
her
what
name.
Mika says.
Well, and maybe they do because they hate her. Now, let's just see how it is supposed to be pronounced. So I've got clips, and by coincidence, not a coincidence, I planned this.
Well.
The first clip is Mika Brzezinski herself pronouncing it. So I'm sure that whatever she says it is must be correct.
I'm counting
because
on it.
I'm sure she doesn't hate her. Here we go.
Kamala Harris.
Wait, what did she say?
Kamala Harris.
Oh, I guess
Kamala.
because she doesn't hate Kamala, it must be Kamala.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
thanks for correcting me.
Yeah, I got it. Well, no, I got some more. Here's Al Sharpton. I'm sure
Al's going to say it right.
Al's going to get it right. Let's just see here.
Kamala Harris.
Wait.
Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Oh, apparently I've been getting it wrong all this time. I have not been saying Kamala. Jesse Jackson.
He'll get it right. I'm sure he will.
Jesse?
People like Kamala Harris.
See, it is Kamala. Okay.
It is Kamala. Okay.
All
you
right.
stand corrected.
It is. Well, Bill Clinton, let's see how he says.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Oh, I guess all this time I've been saying it wrong. It's Kamala by these people who don't hate her. Joe Biden, well, then again, can you really
Whatever,
trust
Joe.
anything? Joe?
Whatever, Joe.
But as Kamala said,
As Kamala said, see, it's Kamala all this time, all these people. Well, let's see. Now, here we got a bunch of TV talking heads. Let's see.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Oh, my.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala
All
Harris.
this time, we've
Kamala
been having
Harris
it
is
wrong.
Kamala.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
That goes on. Seriously, we would be here all day if I let that go to it. I got to.
Well, at least you've corrected
But
it.
now we know
It's Kamala.
You've heard it.
That's it.
It's Kamala. So now we've got here's a few more talking heads. Let's just see if they can clear it up for us.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris was talking about this.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Now I'm confused
I thought it was
because
Kamala.
I could have sworn it's Kamala. Now apparently it's Kamala. You say Kamala. I say
Kamala, like Paul Mala.
okay. I found one that is going to be definitive
Okay.
because it's Whoopi Goldberg. She loves the Democrat president candidate, whatever her name is.
Whatever.
She's a woman of color. She's had her on her show many times.
She loves her.
Probably knows her socially.
I
I
would
mean, I
think.
made that up, but she might. I think
Both seem a little low.
due to this confusion
Yes.
from all these clips, I think we can rely on Whoopi to get it right. Here we go.
Counting on
Let's see what she says.
Kamala Harris.
There you go. It's obviously
Kamala.
Harris.
Oh,
Wait,
no,
hang
do it
on.
again.
Kamala Harris.
there. You have all those people that said Kamala have it wrong. We
They
got
do.
it. Wait a minute. I actually have a better source.
No,
You're not-
it's not possible to have someone better than Whoopi.
Well, you would think that maybe Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or Bill Clinton or Joe Biden
or Brzezinski.
You would think maybe those are good sources, but guess what?
think.
I have the candidate herself.
No.
In Cleveland back in 2020 when she was a vice presidential candidate. So whatever she says.
That's going to be,
because
that's going to rule.
This was only 1 week before the election. She's in front of a big crowd in Cleveland, a week away from the election. I think even if she somehow forgot her pronunciation for that event, she's going to get it right.
She will.
So let's just hear. Let's just hear. What does she say?
Hey, Cleveland! It's Kamala. I just came to say thank you.
Wow, now
From the-
she hates herself because she is intentionally pronouncing her name wrong because of self-hate. Hang on, let's just hear that again. Hang on, this is fun.
Hey, Cleveland! It's Kamala. I just came to say thank you.
Okay,
That's it.
it's Kamala.
Kamala.
So Whoopi Goldberg had it wrong, and Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Mika Brzezinski, they had it right. It's Kamala.
It's Kamala. It's not Kamala.
And
It's not.
it's not Kamala or Kamala.
It's certainly not Kamala.
No, it's, you heard it out of the
That's
camel's
it.
mouth.
From now on.
It's Kamala. That's what she said.
Well, now we know for the rest of the show.
Now, moving on to a different topic.
I mean, what's in a name, anyway?
I don't have an answer to that. We wanted to hear about the Harris-Walz ticket,
So,
words out of their own mouths.
so kind of the
Right.
theme of the show, I guess, is a deep dive.
A
Is that
deep
it?
dive in their own words.
In their own words.
Right. So
We don't want to put words in their mouth.
that's correct.
Right. So we're going to start here in this little segmenta
let's
with the Walzes.
start with the Walzes, and
let's
we're going
start with
to we're going to start with
But I want to ask you a question. Like
Yes.
the Dems seem to have a thing with the word hope, right? So you got
what do you mean?
Bill Clinton, the boy from Hope.
Oh, from Hope, Arkansas, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And Barack Obama, Hope and Change.
Hope and change.
Hope
Yeah.
and Change. And go ahead.
What?
Well,
Who else had what?
Tim Walz.
What about Tim
Wait.
Walz?
Oh, he didn't give up hope.
I don't know what that means.
Well, but maybe he should have, and we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll see if he
I
should
see.
have given up hope or
Okay.
not. Because
I know what you're referring.
Hope Walz
He
is
has
the
a daughter named
Yeah, that's
Hope.
it. And at the time of the Minnesota burning after George Floyd, during the riots, his daughter was 19 years old, living with him, and he was the governor of Minnesota. So perhaps there was some inside information in the house. Anyway, it turns out that she had inside info as to when and where the National Guard would be deployed into downtown Minneapolis, and she let it be known to the rioters. She leaked it on Twitter. And I'm just saying,
Wow.
yeah, I'll read you what she, I mean, there's a bunch of tweets, and maybe we'll post
So
them, maybe
this
we
would have
won't.
been late May
May of 2020.
of 2020, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, no, wait, is that 2019?
No, 2020.
2020. Anyway, so she's just blatantly tells them, the people on Twitter, don't worry, they're not coming. And I'll tell you, I'm going to read, there's a guy who's posting.
Meaning the National Guard is not coming?
That's right. So there's a guy on Twitter, and he's like, urgent, if you're at the protest, get out now. The National Guard and SWAT are en route. They're almost here and will be using city buses to arrest everyone, as many as possible. Get everyone out. Screenshot, retweet, and share this. And here comes Hope from Daddy's basement. Just because someone asks for something doesn't mean it's happening right away or even happening at all. I don't know about SWAT, but what I do know is the Guard will not be present arresting people tonight. Now, can you believe that?
Wow.
And she goes on to explain the Guard can't be sent in minutes. It takes time for them to deploy because they come from all over the state. So to be clear, this is her words, to be clear, the National Guard will not be present tonight. And that is from the Twitter account of Hope Walz. Now, if saying things like march peacefully to the Capitol and protest, if that is inciting a riot,
Yeah, right. This is seems to be
This
at
is a
least
red
aiding
light.
and abetting.
that this is a red light. Go ahead and do whatever you want because the Guard's not coming, despite warnings to the contrary.
That's a green light. What are you
and
talking about?
I'm sure that Tim Walz got arrested for that, right?
Oh, well, yeah. Hope Walz is still doing time.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's- wow.
It's justice is certainly even-handed, right?
Yeah,
Right,
Sure.
so,
Anyway, this is Tom Kowitz and Michele Gaudin. Together, we are Baldy and The Blonde. We are here at WGSO Wednesday, 4 o'clock. We are taking a short break. Join us on the other side. This is Tom Kowitz with Michele Gaudin. We are here Wednesday every Wednesday at 4
Yes.
o'clock.
You can follow us on Facebook. We have a group, the Baldy and the Blonde radio show. We also are at Baldy Blonde on Twitter. And I'll be posting that Kamala little thing that you did in the opening segment.
You gonna post that?
Kamala,
We're gonna be
Kamala.
famous.
I think so.
All right.
It could be it.
And you
It's a
can,
big ticket.
at baldyandtheblonde.com, you can listen to our previous shows and podcasts.
Yes, you can.
So now continuing with the theme of examining this Harris-Walz ticket in their own words.
Yes. It's always best because people will say,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
"Oh, Michelle,
where'd you get
Tom,
that?
Must
Yeah.
have been on Rumble."
So
whatever."
now before we get to Tim Walz himself, let's listen to his wife, Gwen Walz. This was in a July 2020 interview with an ABC affiliate. And she was talking about the BLM riots in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Those first days, when there were riots, I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open for as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening.
So demented is the word that comes to mind. That's just weird.
It's bizarre. Your city's going up in smoke,
Yeah.
and poor people's neighborhoods are being destroyed, and they've never come back. Those people will cry if you go interview them.
And she loved it.
She loved it.
So you know what that reminds me of is
Reminds me.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's that?
Smells like victory.
victory.
Smells
That's
like
probably what she
victory.
thought. They had won something.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's that famous line from Apocalypse.
Apocalypse Now, yeah.
Normally you don't bring candidates' families into it, but they brought themselves into
Well-
it. With interjecting Hope Walz,
I mean, Hope.
given the green light about the National Guard, and then
I mean, that's serious
this
business.
bizarre comment about the riots. And
What is wrong with these people?
what? Well,
I mean, do we really want them at the helm of power in this country? Is crazy.
We do not. Now, the next one is actually not Tim Walz. It's a guy named Matt Burke.
Burke.
Matt Burke was actually, I didn't even know the guy when he played in the NFL. He played in the NFL for like 14 years. He was a center.
Really?
And then back in 2022, he was running for lieutenant governor of Minnesota. And he pointed out the COVID snitch line that Tim Walz had in place, basically encouraging people to email or call in to rat out their neighbors if they weren't 6 feet apart.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, here you go. Let's listen to
Freedom.
Yeah, right. Here's what Matt Burke had to say.
Hi, I'm Matt Burke, running to be your next lieutenant governor of Minnesota. I want to show you something here. Just gonna dial the number.
Hello, you've reached the Department of Public Safety stay-at-home hotline. The information you leave is considered public information. At the tone, please leave the following information: your name, your callback number, how the stay-at-home order is being violated, and where the stay-at-home order was violated. Thank you.
Wow.
Right. They set up an email address and a phone number to call to rat out people who were not 6 feet apart. Now, what's extra disturbing, because that's bad enough,
That's pretty bad.
that was in 2022. That was
Oh my gosh.
they still had it up. Now,
So that's 2 years.
yes, now it wasn't really active for those entire 2 years, but they still had the phone number, they still had the email. And even if you have it up for 2 hours, that's horrific.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that is so, I know they love to say that the right is Nazi Germany, but this really is.
Well,
Or
that's
it's Fidel
more,
Cuba.
That's more, I would
it's
say,
more Castro's Cuba.
I think it more East Germany Stasi, if you
Yes,
ask me.
Stasi too. Yeah.
You're asking
you're right.
people to rat out
Yeah.
rat out anybody who's 5 feet 11 inches apart, apparently.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Next is, we have a clip of Tim Walz.
Oh, I love this clip.
Yeah.
You know, I read recently, just y'all pay attention because from what I hear, this clip is being removed from
being
the internet.
scrubbed?
Yeah, it's being scrubbed.
Memory hold, huh?
Yeah, but we've got it.
We got it forever.
We got it. Unless, well, don't tell
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. Shut up. All right, well, let's hear what's so controversial.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so progressive values apparently equates to
Socialism.
and in his mind equates to neighborliness.
Sure.
Now,
Well, going back to the snitches, you know, it's very neighborly.
well, let me ask you this. Is it neighborly to take people's wealth and give it to other neighbors? I think if you do it voluntarily, that's pretty neighborly.
That's called charity.
If done by force, that's the opposite
Yeah.
of neighborly. It sounds criminal.
Yeah. And
But-
that goes, you know, people, oh, Jesus was a socialist. No, Jesus was telling you
Yeah,
to
that
be
makes no
personally
sense.
charitable, not the government
Right.
to take it from you, waste 90% of it, and then dole out
He never said
a
that.
few cents to your friends.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
You know what? I want to hear that one again.
Yeah, that's
It's
horrible.
just a quick one.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
So don't shy away. That's another dead giveaway. He's loud and proud, and keep up the message is what he's saying. Don't shy away from it. Is that progressive values is socialism, and socialism equals neighborliness.
Just so we're all clear, he's the
Wow.
same guy that's for the snitch line.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
He's for censorship. He's for removal of your rights to free speech. And did you see him like a wimpy little weenie that he did not know how to load his own gun the other day?
Well, now wait a
was
minute.
pathetic.
Coming from a wimpy little weenie who doesn't know how to load a gun, I resemble that remark. All right. So speaking of his position on free speech, let's play the next one, and you can give us your opinion on that, Blondie.
All right, here we go.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Tell us.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
He said
There's no right to, what did he say? No right to hate speech. First of all, there absolutely,
absolutely
and
is.
we've covered that in every show. Hate speech is protected. You are allowed to be a mean person. You're allowed to hate people.
you can send out mean tweets all you want.
all you want. Protected by the First Amendment,
All right.
absolutely.
Now
and
we're-
misinformation is, but
All right, we're
according to
coming
who?
up on the break. We got to get this next one. Here we go.
Go ahead.
It's a quickie.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
No, it is not.
All right, we got 1 minute. Tell us what you think.
That Supreme Court case was reversed. It's considered to be a terrible opinion. It actually regulated war protesters during World War I. It was reversed. It is absolutely not the law. And somebody needs to tell Tim what the law is. You are absolutely allowed to have free speech, including saying fire in the theater. And by the way, there could be a fire in the theater, right?
Yeah, there could be a fire now.
Yeah.
The original opinion, though, said
Yeah.
falsely.
Falsely.
But the thing is, maybe they're actually, I'm not going to do it in the next 30 seconds, but there are scenarios under which it might be desirable to falsely yell. If the owner, you're playing a game or whatever, you do it, it's false, everybody knows it, because it remains peaceful. But if you do anything, not just yell fire, you do anything in a crowded theater that causes a panic and a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. It's not the
It's not the
words.
word.
It's the action.
It is.
And as you said, it's been reversed.
It has been.
All Tim Walz has to
considered
do.
to be a disgraced opinion, actually. You know, the one that was reversed.
Well.
But nobody told Tim.
All right, this is
There
Tom
you go.
Kowitz, Baldy and The Blonde. We will be back after the break.
You speak when they tell you. Yeah, now do you dream?
All right, New Orleans, and again, wherever you may be, this is Baldy and The Blonde, Tom Kowitz and Michele Gaudin. Michele, where can our 9 million fans find us?
Oh,
on
the
social
9
media?
million and one. Yes, can find us on Facebook at the Baldy and the Blonde Radio Show group. Please join and like the group. You can follow us on X at Baldy Blonde. We also have a website, baldyandtheblonde.com, where we archive our old shows, and without commercials. Actually, you can just listen to them. And is that it? Yeah, I'm working on Instagram. I haven't done it yet because really and truly we were banned before we got on. We don't know what happened.
It was seriously less than 1 minute. We got a ban.
Yeah, probably from the guests we used to have when we were on last time.
I think really just because of us.
Probably so.
All right, so continuing with our theme of looking at the Harris-Walz ticket in their own words.
In their own words. And please, I wish you would pronounce it correctly.
Kamala?
Kamala. Camel-a. No.
Wait, I forget
What?
now. It's Kamala.
Kamala.
And if you just tuned in and if you think that's not how you say it, just listen. Go back to baldyandtheblonde.com. Listen
to the first few minutes.
And you'll see that we have it right.
We have it right because.
And I'm not kidding. We actually have it right.
We actually do. And things that we say may sound crazy, but.
They're true.
That's true.
So you know what? I want to say one last thing about this list of things. We don't pretend that these are scoops. All of these clips, you may have heard one or maybe even all of these before. We wanted to have one single place where you could hear all these in one shot. Yeah. So if you have anybody who was wondering just where are Harris and Walz and all this stuff, what do they have to say, just refer them to this show. So now,
well, I would also add the first show too, because that has all the First Amendment.
Yeah, you're right.
Violations.
Yeah, you're right.
And there are many of them.
So let's go to what's her name again?
Camel.
Kamala.
Camelot. Yes.
At least that's the way she pronounces it.
That's it.
So this is her speaking at a press conference in San Francisco in 2007 to promote gun control legislation. Here we go.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Amazing.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity, that's a rather snarky word.
Isn't
right?
it? You may
of
think
your
it's
locked home.
Locked. Sanctity.
Doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs. You think she's talking to Bill Clinton. All right, so I mean, that's horrifying.
And we play this one a lot
because
we do, but it's one of the worst I've ever heard.
How do you enter someone's locked home? You got to crash it in. That's what she's talking about.
Kick the door down in violation of the Fourth Amendment without a warrant,
and
without
this is
you
why
having committed a crime, because she wants to see if you're being safe in your home.
Yes.
In the sanctity of your locked
home.
And shocking.
And she's talking about crashing in your door, busting in your locked door for having something that's legal. So what would they do if they suspect, or not even suspect if you have something illegal? They just want to know. Well, they're going to crash in your door for something legal.
They're coming.
What if you just have a prescription that's expired? That's illegal. They're going to crash in the door for that?
Maybe.
Or you misgendered somebody, they're going to crash in your door. Apparently, that's where this is headed.
And wait till we get to a little segment later. We'll see who they'll be assisted by. The U.S. military.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. Well, you can talk about that later.
I'm going to talk about that.
So now, this one is particularly horrifying. These are all horrifying, and that's why
really
we're playing them. This is...
Just remember, this person wants to be president of the United States, and she acts in contempt of the freedoms that the Constitution guarantees you. The government didn't give you those freedoms, just guarantees them.
It's supposed to protect
their only
them.
job is to protect us, and God knows they don't.
All right, and here she is, Kamala, at the July 2019 National NAACP Convention in Detroit.
Okay.
This is terrible.
We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. If you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable.
So they have to police the platforms. Does WGSO then have to police us? Jeez, they'd be in a lot of trouble.
Good luck over there, Kobe. You know, can you imagine? That's like telling AT&T that they're responsible, or let's say Verizon. Verizon is responsible for everything that you say on your phone.
Well,
Same
it is.
thing.
Yeah, it's equivalent of that.
It's impossible. She just wants to use it to get rid of Elon Musk because he is allowed free speech, and no one else does. So.
Right, and then she said that before Elon Musk was on the radar with all this.
That's
but
right.
Clearly, he would be public enemy number one
Oh, yeah,
in their eyes.
Yeah. He is.
All right, the next one.
So far she's just romping through the Constitution, right?
Oh, yeah. Now, the next one was in September of 2019, a couple months after that, is while she was running for president. She was a keynote speaker at some...
September 2023.
No, you're looking at the wrong one.
Oh, see
This
that.
is September of 2019.
2019.
She was running for president. She was speaking at a Democrat banquet in New Hampshire.
That was when she got how many votes?
0.
That's right.
Yeah,
She had to drop out because she didn't get
0.
not a single delegate.
Well, I mean, she had 0 this time, so 0's
She's continuing
been a good
the trend.
number for her.
It's working out great.
All right, anyway, let's hear what she has to say then.
I think I was, 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power to impact real human beings.
So, they say that she's the joyful candidate. This is the first time I've actually heard actual joy, and this is in her ability as a person with power to ruin someone's life by charging them with a crime, even though she dismisses it a few weeks later. The damage is done, the person's been charged, and she thinks that's awesome.
And
she's a scary woman.
The video of that, she's saying it gleefully. There's a smile on her face and a lilt in her voice. Yes, absolutely. Now, we're going to try to get through all these in this segment, so let's be quick. The next one is...
oh, wait, I just want to say one other thing.
Go ahead.
She failed the bar. And I think we all know how she ascended in her career.
Or descended, as it were.
As it were.
The next one is from last September, so a little over a year ago. She was doing an interview with the Associated Press, and here's something that she can't back away from this. She knew that Joe Biden was incompetent. She had to have. But let's see what she has to say.
I see him every day. A substantial amount of time we spend together is in the Oval Office, where I see how his ability to understand issues and weave through complex issues in a way that no one else can to make smart and important decisions on behalf of the American people have played out.
Like no one else can. You're really laying it on thick there.
The liar.
If all she had said was he can get through a meeting without drooling or tripping over his shoelaces, I would not sure if I
maybe
might believe it.
Maybe.
Right? But to say that he grasps these things like no one else, come on, man.
Jeez. And since the press has asked her so many times about her part in covering up his incompetence, it's just really good to bring this forth to the American people.
Well, and that's a very big deal.
She has never been asked about that, and yet
right now, here she is, 50 minutes after the debate debacle back in June. This is less than an hour after that debate, before she got the memo that they're kicking Biden aside. Let's see what she says about that debate.
Whether it be the person I see in the Oval Office who is meeting with heads of the military and the intelligence community and in the Situation Room, ensuring the safety of America, the person I see in Joe Biden on the world stage, convening world leaders who often ask for his advice, most recently just during the G7 conference. So I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
I think if he was meeting with heads of cabbages, he probably wouldn't even know the difference. That is preposterous. If you remember that night, the knives were out immediately by the big donors and the big Democrats, and there she is, the one person who knew better than any of them that he was incompetent is standing up for him less than an hour after that performance, if you can call it a performance. All right, so we're down to our last little bit. This is this is Camel-a on the Camel-a. Is that on the View about what would she do? Anything different from Joe Biden?
Oh, can't hear it.
Oh, maybe that's not. Maybe that one's not working.
I can hear it real soft, but
no.
Basically, she was asked, but obviously you would think she'd want to separate herself from Biden, right? Because we have inflation and invasion at the border. She's responsible for it, and
they said, "What would you do differently?" She said, "Nothing comes to mind," and I was involved in every pertinent decision. Then
no change,
right?
No hope,
and then,
no change.
Now I'm going to see if I can get this next one to work. If it doesn't, I'll summarize it as well. But she came back later in the show to expand on that answer. Oh, now I don't know what's going on with those last two. She came back later and said, "Oh, you asked me what sets me apart from Joe Biden," and she said, "I'd have a Republican in my."
That's all she could.
But that's all she didn't. No policy differences or anything like that.
And not that she would stop the invasion at the border.
We're going to break. Welcome back to the Baldy and the Blonde show. I'm Tom Kowitz with my brilliant, beautiful blonde host, Michele Gaudin.
Thank you, Tom.
And we know that you love us because everyone does, and how do you not? So, Michele, just real quick, tell everyone where they can find us on social media.
Yes, you can follow us on Twitter at Baldy Blonde. You can join our Facebook group and like it, the Baldy and the Blonde radio show. And we have a website, baldyandtheblonde.com, where our shows are archived and you can listen commercial free. I also post them on Facebook. So.
All right. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Now, before we move on, one last little quote that I didn't have time to get in. Right. This, you'll see, it obviously pertains to the Democrat presidential candidate. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And if you listen to the first segment, you'll see why we're so confused.
It's well worth listening.
And this is a translation from like a Turkish proverb that's like 2,500 years old.
Yeah.
The forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe. For the axe was clever and convinced the trees that because his handle was made of wood, he was one of them.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why the Dems are trying to convince people to vote for her because she looks like them, I guess. Anyway, so that this quote is 2,500 years old is very telling. It goes back a long ways.
Let's put that up in the show notes by all means. And now we were very excited to announce our guest, Christy Lynch. And Christy is running for District 2 Congress to replace Troy Carter. Really proud of her for going out on a limb and working so hard, and she's really been kicking butt. And, it's really important that we have representation we do have one member already of the Freedom Caucus, Clay Higgins, and I think Christy would be an excellent addition. So, Christy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michele. It's good to be on.
Yeah, you've been working hard, Christy. I'm on your email list. Wow. Go ahead.
Thank you. I am just coming back from Ascension Parish. I'm going to Lafourche tomorrow. I am going up and down this 10-parish footprint trying to touch as many voters and as many people that are excited about this campaign as I possibly can. And I just pulled over into a McDonald's parking lot on my way home, so I just spend some time talking with you.
Great. So we talk a lot about freedom and the attacks on freedom in this country on our show, and I was struck by the fact that Troy Carter co-authored a bill to take away Secret Service protection, basically from Donald Trump.
Co-sponsored. Now,
co-sponsored.
Yeah, I just want to so everybody's clear. Sorry.
Co-sponsored the bill, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that.
Well, it's part of what galvanized this race into motion. There was a lot of discontent up and down this 10-parish footprint. We're hearing from Republicans, Democrats, and independents saying that they were really unsure of what they're going to get when they vote for a Democrat because they did not know that they were going to open the borders. And then when they had this bill that Troy Carter co-sponsored to say, let's take away the Secret Service protection for President Trump, well, he lives right next to the district where Steve Scalise was. When we had this heated political rhetoric before a Bernie Sanders fan went and shot up Steve Scalise at a baseball game, a congressional baseball game. And so to me, it was very unwise. And it made a lot of people just pause and think, what are we getting into? What is going on? And it galvanized us to let's do something. Let's push back. Let's just not let everybody take over territory without a putting somebody up for election.
Exactly. We shouldn't just, and it's a difficult thing to put yourself out there, and I know you're working so hard to give representation to people, especially Louisiana people who, we don't appreciate having our liberties taken away, and so I'm really happy you're doing what you're doing. So, speaking of go ahead.
Well, I was just going to tell you, I got to tell J.D. Vance that. I told him, I said, anybody who wants to take away Secret Service protection from President Trump deserves a Louisiana fight, so we don't give up territory. So we're here.
Well, we are.
That we are not going to ignore some Americans that just happenstance by geography to live in Congressional District 2. They're Americans.
Yes, indeed. And we are also being invaded, like the rest of the country, as a result of this border czar Harris's policies. Right. And what would your position be with regard to what we should do about the border?
Close it down,
yes,
except
ma'am.
For all of the immigration that should be taking place. I know it's very difficult and very expensive. I have a great deal of my friends have come in legally, but it's very expensive. It takes a very long period of time. And so that's one of the things I want to delve into is how can we streamline this? How can we make it easier? And we have an immigration advocate that's a member of our Greater New Orleans Republican Women's Club, and she's saying that the advocacy that she's seeing coming through now is more along the lines of I'm frightened but not necessarily in danger. And that's not necessarily why we have immigration and asylum in place. It's supposed to be a little bit more stringent than the area where I live is scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We've had estimates are between 10 and 20 million under Kamala Harris, so I would certainly hope we could make that stop, right? And, as she says, well, the border crossings are down, and that's because they're flying them in on that app that the moderators of the debate would not allow JD to explain.
Well, and when you're down from a massively huge number, that's no big deal.
Right.
So what they're down?
We're only doing 1 million now instead of 20 million. Yeah. Right, yeah. So
right,
crazy.
And it puts a lot of vulnerability and insecurity in our communities because we all deserve to know who's living amongst us.
Good point.
If we have criminals living there, we need to deport them. They need to go back. And I know at one time some of these governments tried to stop President Trump from deporting people back, and they wouldn't let the planes land. Well, he said, guess what? We're going to pull your foreign aid, let the planes land, and guess what? The planes landed. So there's a way to negotiate and do this, and these people know who the criminals are that they're letting out and sending into our country, and that's not fair to our people. Our people are footing the bill for this, and they deserve to know what is going on in their community.
So, Christy, if people want to learn more about you, where should they follow you, and what can they do to help?
I'm on X. I'm Lynch for CD2, so the number 4 and the number 2, so Lynch for CD2, and that's also my website, and the ending of my website is .rocks, so Lynch for CD2 .rocks, like because we rock.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So okay, and I anyway, we real happy to have you on the show, and wish you great success and. Keep on.
Have me again.
Yes, we will.
Yep, good luck. I hope you win your race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are out of time, so maybe we'll have you back again. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, Michelle, we are down to our last 49 seconds.
Yes, we are.
What words of wisdom do you have for our 9
I feel better
million
next week,
listeners?
that's all. Sorry for coughing, but anyway. Yes, words of wisdom are, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Look long and hard before you vote because your freedoms are at stake, and we hope that we have established through proof, not through what we say, but through the actual words coming out of their mouths,
Yes,
not us putting them in there.
Check baldyandtheblonde.com.
Yes.
That show will be posted without commercials later this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. So if you have anybody who wants to hear what these people have to say, you can refer them to baldyandtheblonde.com. This is Tom Kowitz and Michele Gaudin. We will be back next Wednesday here on WGSO at 4 o'clock.